All right, continuing on with the significant figure section. All right, with sig figs, we had a couple rules. We said all non-zeros digits are significant. But if you have numbers with zeros in them, you've got to consider some rules. So you got a zero in front, and that is a never. Got the zero in the middle, that was always. And a zero at the end, oops, that's significant if there's a decimal. All right, so look at these. You got four all non-zeros here, so there's 4 sig figs. Here you've got 2 zeros at the end, but there is a decimal, so 3 sig figs. All right, over here you've got 2 zeros, 2 non-zeros, they're significant, and 2 zeros, they're significant if there's a decimal. Is there a decimal? No, so there's 2 sig figs. Here you've got a non-zero, 0 in the middle, 0 in the middle, 0 in the middle, 0 in the middle, non-zero, 0 at the end. So the zeros in the middle are yes, they're always. The 0 at the end is significant if there's a decimal. Is there a decimal? No. So the number of sig figs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, here you've got a non-zero, a 0, a 0, a 0. So non-zero, yes. 0 in the middle, 0 in the middle, 0 in the middle, yes. Non-zero, yes. 0 at the end. Is there a decimal? Yes. So the 0 at the end is significant. So there'd be 6 significant figures in that number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here you got 0 in front, not 0, 0 in the middle, not 0, 0 at the end with a decimal. So the first 2 are not significant because zeros in front are never significant, but the other 4 are significant based on the other 2 rules. So 4 sig figs. All right, now in this section I'm going to remind you of the math rules. So the top is for multiplying and dividing. When you multiply and divide, you must round answer to match the factor. Factors are the things that you multiply with the least sig figs. So let's do this. 8 times 4, that's 32. Whoops, not 82, 32. Okay, so 8 times 4 is 32, but 8 only has how many sig figs? 1. 4 has how many sig figs? 1. So your 3 will be significant, but you can't have that 2 there. Still, you have to hold the place, because certainly 32 doesn't round off to 3. So what do? You put a 0 in. That holds the place. Okay, so, but yet it's not significant because you didn't put a decimal point in. So the answer to that's 30. Now 8 times 4 again is 32. But this time you've got 2 sig figs and 2 sig figs, so the answer can really be 32. And all of the units on these are square meters, just FYI. Okay, here you got 2 times 4, which is 8. But 8 only has 1 sig fig. This 2.00 has zeros at the end with a decimal, so how many sig figs are there? So there'll be 3. The 0 at the end with a decimal here makes this 4 have 2 sig figs. So which is less, 3 or 2? 2 is. How many does 8 have? Only 1, so you got to make it have 2. So you put a 0 on with a decimal, because that makes it significant. The decimal makes the 0 at the end significant. Now 2 times 4 is 8 again. But 2 only has 1 sig fig, and 4 only has 1 sig fig, so 8 is okay here for an answer. And again, the units are square meters, because meters times meters is meters to the second power. Now we're adding and subtracting. And let's put the rules down here, plus and minus. Okay, so the plus and minus rules were round answer to the least precise place. So you round your answer to the least precise place. All right, so you look at the two things you're adding together. This 5 is in the hundredths place. This 1 is in the tenths place. So if this is a meter, a tenth of a meter would be about right there, and a hundredth of a meter would be about right there. So which is less precise, this area or that one? Well, tenths are. So you'd have to round your answer to the tenths place. So your answer would be 4.35, but you have to round to the tenths place because that's less precise right there. So 4.4. It's 4 because the 3 here is followed by a 5, so you round the 3 to the next higher number. Just an aside, I saw a couple people get confused by this. If it was 4.33, you just drop the 3, the answer would be 4.3. Some people thought you would go down to 2. You don't do that. You just leave it as a 3, drop that second 3 off. Since that's not 5 or more, you leave this as a 3, but you don't lower it. Okay, here you got 5 plus 7.2, so that's, or plus 2.2, so that's 7.2. But this 5 is in the ones place, and this 2 is in the hundredths place. Oh, I said that wrong. This 2 is in the tenths place. So which is less precise, the ones place or the tenths place? It'd be the ones place. So you have to round the answer off to the ones place, so that's 7. Remember ones, tenths, hundredths, thousands, and so on. Okay, here you got a 5 in the hundredths place and a 4 in the what place? That's hundredths also. So you add them together, you get 7.19. Since they're both in the hundredths place, you just leave your answer alone, because the 9 is also in the hundredths place. Then you got 0.002 and 0.0042. Well, 0.002 has a 2 in the thousands place. The 0.0042 has a 2 in the 10,000ths place. So your answer is 0.0062. But, which is less precise? That 2 right there is, because that's only the thousandths. This is the 10,000ths, is more specific. So less precise is there, so your answer has to be 0.006, and that's your final answer for that one. Now, of course, there's stuff on the website to practice doing this kind of math. Remember, one other thing I'll say that's not on the test, I didn't put on the test, but if you had a number like 4.00 times 10 to the 8th, the 10 to the 8th is not a part of the significant figure determination. It's all about these 3 numbers here, so this number would have 3 sig figs. All right, I'm going to go ahead and go quickly through the physical chemical properties for those people who need it. Most people did reasonably well in that. Since being white doesn't depend on anything else other than just look at it, it's white. Whiteboards are white is just a physical property. Burning depends on interaction with something else. That's a fire, so you gotta have oxygen for that, so that's chemical. Iron is magnetic. You look at magnetic, that doesn't change the iron when it gets picked up by a magnet. It's still, like if you pick up a nail with a magnet, it's still a nail. So that's just a physical property. And an iron will react with hydrochloric acid. Key word here was react, so that'd be a chemical property. And water boils at 100 degrees. Since boiling doesn't change water, the boiling point is just a physical property, and boiling itself is a physical change. As is tearing a piece of paper, because you tear out the piece of paper and it's just paper. And once again, if you boil water, it's still water after it boils, so that's chemical. Oh, shoot. I said that wrong. That's physical. And then fire means you're burning something. So if you're burning something, you're changing its identity, so that'd be chemical. And rusting, if you have a rusty car, you know that the metal loses its integrity when it rusts. It just kind of crumbles away, so it turns into something different. So that's a chemical change. Sugar dissolving water, you know, if you took the water away, you'd still have sugar, wouldn't you? And the water still tastes sweet, so that is only a physical process. All right, that was section 2 of the test. I'll stop there. I'm going to come back and do section 3 in a few minutes. Well, it could be immediately if you click on it. I just haven't made the video yet.